We're going to do a troubleshooting electrical on a Craftsman garden tractor. Most of these are pretty much universal. This one's got everything out the way so I can show it to you pretty easily. First step, make sure you got power to your battery. Second step, check your fuse. And then you have safety switches. Make sure your safety switches are on or off to make the thing work. If the deck's engaged, it won't start. If you're not in the seat, it'll die unless the parking brake's in. First step would probably be to check your battery, make sure it's got power. The solenoids control the power to the starter. There's a black and a white. Check, see which one lets the power to it, or both of them, and that'll engage the starter solenoid. If you use a little test light, a meter, you're going 12 volts, or get a light bulb. And you can also, to make sure the starter is going, if the starter is the issue, jump these two little terminals here, just like a Ford starter, and that'll let it start. If you should have the parking brake on, and make sure it's in neutral. And then next step is if you get a start with the starter solenoid and you replace the starter solenoid, or it tries to start but doesn't fire up, you need to check your safety switches. Safety switches are just little buttons. These ones have 4 wires, 2 of them, black and white, black and white. Safety switch for this one is going over here to let the deck know to get engaged or not engage. The deck would hit that actually is a deck engage lever. It hits that little button, pushes that little button in. Same with the parking brake. It's got one just like that, so it's upside down. It's got the little button, and this one's upside down. I really can't show it to you because it's hard to see, but we'll try. The parking brake, it's up over here. Yeah, I really can't get to it with the picture, but the parking brake pushes it to where it's engaged. It's way up there, and it's the parking brake, or the brake is stuck over there. The brake rod will push it up and down. That's pretty much the basic steps. These safety switches generally aren't too hard to get to. There's 2 sets of wires, 2 of them. One is to turn the ignition on and off, one is to let the starter go on and off. And that's the basics of that. And then there's the wiring harness that goes to the engine. If you need to make sure your engine's okay, disconnect the black wire that runs to the ignition, the coil. There'll be a black wire, or this one has a black, you disconnect that. You can disconnect both. This one's charging, and that'll let you know if you got a bad coil or not, or your ignition switch is grounding out. So if you trace all your wiring, you're still not getting the thing to start, and you pulled off the wire going to the coil, you would change the ignition switch, which is up there, and it comes out real easy. And they're pretty much universal for most of them. There's 2 styles: an old style with just a couple wires going to it, I think 6 or 8 pins, and a newer style is pretty much solid black with black plastic faceplate on there. So hopefully that gives you some idea where to shoot from or what to do.